The Warriors traveled to LA for another Steph and LeBron classic, now featuring new midseason additions of Jimmy and Luka. Despite the superstar names, it was the Dubs' young stars, Brandin Podziemski and Kuminga, who made the biggest impact. I want to break down how Podz shot the ball and JK made energy plays, both stepping up in a game that might prove the Dubs' two-timeline plan is finally working. So let's get to it. Podz had a career-high 8 3-pointers in the game, and most of them were straight given to him. The Warriors want to attack known cone defender in Luka Doncic all night, especially with Steph Curry on ball. They get the switch they want, and Doncic actually pressures Steph enough for him to swing it to Podz. Now, Austin Reaves is as much of a cone, and the defense had game planned to play a drop coverage with their hands down. This will be a theme all first quarter, so Brandin confidently pops one right in his face. On a high pick and roll with Steph and Draymond, Reaves tries to classically flop on the screen while Jackson Hayes is dangerously in a drop coverage. Steph does not force it here but looks at the weak side, where Jimmy Butler is cutting to the basket. This cut preoccupies Luka for no apparent reason when he's got one foot in the paint. Swing pass back to Podz for another wide open catch and shoot with the defender's hands completely down. 2 for 2 here. Even with 2 threes hit, JJ Redick decided to keep the game plan of letting Podz shoot. I would not say this is a terrible game plan, but Podziemski has been shooting greater than 50% from 3 since coming back from his last injury. Nothing fancy here but a swing pass back to Podz higher up on the right wing. Austin Reaves has his hands still down, Podz jab steps to create some space and rhythm before pulling up again. Splash. Jonathan Kuminga, man, what a mystery to this version of the Warriors team. Kuminga re-injured his ankle just as he was getting integrated, but he surprisingly made a return back to the team against LA. Kuminga played extremely intelligently last night. Here he goes for the DHO, but realized that Santos is handing it off to Curry. JK smartly gets out of the way, allowing Steph to attack on the catch and draw a triple team. This is where the others have to be in correct spacing. Santos cuts to the rim while JK fades to the perimeter, and we know Kuminga is best at attacking the rim in a straight line drive. He's not a finesse dribbler at all, but hits the defender with an in and out dribble before going up strong with his left hand. If you think JJ was going to let Podz shoot, the entire league would let Kuminga shoot. Swing pass to Kuminga, who has the cone Doncic and the drop coverage with his hands down. This is actually perfect defense in my opinion, but even JK has that mental edge on Luka. Confidently pulls up and swishes a big 3. To be fair, the Lakers were sticking to the game plan, and the Warriors' young stars were simply defeating them. Off an offensive rebound, LA gets lazy with their matchups, allowing Moody to attack a 3-on-2 on the left wing. Hachimura has to run up and contest, forcing Reaves to have the 2 Warriors on the strong side. Reaves tries to play the extra pass here, but forgetting that he is trying to cut off a potential pass to a non-shooter in Jimmy Butler. Podz does not even look to pass and drains another deep 3-pointer. On this double team by the Lakers, Steph hits a short roll pass to Guy Santos, forcing LA into rotations. LeBron comes to rotate as the low man with DFS covering the 2 weak side Dubs. They leave Kuminga open on the perimeter because Looney is deep in the paint, and a kick out pass allows JK to attack the peel switch closeout by Reaves. JK is once again best at driving straight line to the rim, but his rim pressure forces attention of 4 Lakers. JK does an incredible job of keeping his dribble alive and watching the defense unfold here, then zoom a pass right to the weak side corner for the highest ROI shot in the game. Moses Moody hits the corner 3. The Warriors' 2 timelines have always been a controversial topic. JK seemed to finally come into his own the last couple seasons, but he's still got a lot of development to go. He's best at those straight line drives like I said, and attacking mismatches from the top of the key. Santos comes for the pick, and the Lakers screw this up by not switching, because I imagine Gabe Vincent did not want to force a mismatch. This gives Kuminga another opportunity to attack a straight line drive, no help from the other Lakers, and JK gets a left hand layup to go with the contact. Before we break down the next play, I gotta put y'all into something that's been a serious upgrade in my routine. Today's sponsor, Gainful. I've actually been using Gainful's protein powder for almost a decade, way before they were a sponsor. Whether I'm hooping, recovering, or trying to stay lean, this stuff has always kept me on track. Their protein powder comes unflavored, and you get a full variety pack of flavor sticks, so you can switch it up every single day. No more choking down the same shake over and over. What makes Gainful special is that they're the only brand doing this. Clean, personalized protein with endless flavor options. Every formula uses clinically proven ingredients in real, effective doses. No fillers, no artificial anything. It also makes it easier to stay consistent and actually stick to your goals, since you're not getting bored of the flavor. You get real ingredients with real impact, backed by science and built around your body and goals. And with Gainful, you're not just buying protein, you're getting a full system that supports muscle growth, recovery, and daily performance. Go to gainful.com/warriors to get 30% off your first order. That's gainful.com/warriors. Links in the description. Now let's get back to the breakdowns. Steph and Jimmy try a mini two-man game here, attacking weak defenders. Jimmy sets a running screen with his back, forcing Gabe Vincent to play Curry's side, and Reeves trying to defend as a big man. The alley-oop does not work out, but JK is able to pull the loose ball and read the defense again. The next stage of Kuminga's development has always been to keep his dribble alive and read the coverages without having tunnel vision. Here he sees Luka in a drop coverage at 10 feet and pulls up the midi. This is a high-quality shot. On this play, you can see Butler spread out to the right corner, giving Kuminga a mismatch to attack down low. He fumbles it here on the strip, but keeps it simple by kicking it back out to Podz. Podz is excellent at attacking off the catch, making every one of his dribble count when he beats a long contest. Here Podz is able to get a running floater in, another high percentage look. Podziemski had himself a huge first half. He was the main reason the Warriors jump out to the lead they never relinquished. He was able to read LeBron's pass to the open man in the paint, then single-handedly reward himself on a 1-on-3. Hesitates to look at LeBron while sensing Reeves is in a drop coverage with his hands down. Reeves probably thought there was no way he was pulling this, but Podz pulls a Steph Curry right in front of him. For the first half buzzer, not much of a breakdown, but Podz brilliantly dribbling away from Reeves and towards the middle of the court. This forces AR-15 to turn his back towards him, giving Podz an open look right at the square of the backboard. We got a mini Steph Curry on our hands. This was a great momentum swing to end the fantastic half. Podziemski is known as a hustle player, taking charges, grabbing loose balls, and is a prolific offensive rebounder for his size. Here he grabs a second chance opportunity over two bigger Lakers, then does not force anything up. The best time to shoot a three ball is off an offensive rebound, so he finds the greatest shooter ever to knock a big triple. Classic no foul on Steph. Let's highlight Kuminga's best defensive play of the night. With Luka getting a mismatch on Steph, JK comes over to shade the baseline. This forces the Warriors on the weak side to rotate, and especially Guy Santos to X out. The Dubs did an amazing job, peel and pre-switching all night. Here's an example. The first half, the Hachimura forces Santos to pop out, but look at how Podz peel switches back out to the strong side corner, allowing Kuminga to remain bigger and stay in the paint. Hachimura had a good game, but is not the quickest, and Santos does a great job sliding his feet, forcing him right into help. This is the next level of Jonathan Kuminga's defensive mindset, where he's able to use his athleticism to swat the shot. Great defensive play here. This was another good JK play, showing the growth of his IQ. Shout out Guy Santos for coming up with another offensive rebound and kicking out to the open JK. When Steph missed the layup, you know he will 100% always relocate for the open three, trying to catch the defense sleeping. LeBron knows he does not have to close out, but Kuminga immediately makes a swing pass to the relocating Curry. Hayes has to sprint and jump, but Curry makes his sidestep threes in his sleep. Let's go back to Kuminga fundamentals. When LA lost Anthony Davis, I thought this was going to be huge for a matchup against the Dubs. Guys like JK can now feast on much weaker defenders, and here's a small Gabe Vincent and takes him right in the post. Nothing fancy here, but a couple body bumps where Vincent ends up flopping. Great use of the backboard here for a midi by JK. Another short highlight of Podz simply dribbling up to the three-point line where the defense forgot he's made 6 threes already. DFS is playing the drive, and in a drop coverage, Podz dribbles into a rhythm pull-up. If we get this all-around Kuminga, the Warriors are on a different level. High pick and roll with JK and Steph to get Luka into action, but Kuminga sneakily flips the screen the last second. This catches Doncic on the wrong side of the pick, allowing Kuminga to roll and open a huge window for this short roll pass. This forces the Lakers into rotations, where LeBron comes early as the small ball center, and Reeves is Xing out to the two weak side Dubs. Smart cut by Looney to not settle and create the perfect lane for a bounce pass by JK, and gets an easy dunk. Podz and Kuminga had a couple of link-ups late in the game to keep the lead. On a stop, the secondary ball handler in Podziemski surveys the floor and sees that JK is cutting on the left wing and points to the sky for the lob. Great pass to allow Kuminga to overwhelm the smaller Reeves with his athleticism, and with no rim protector besides the Great Whites, JK gets an easy bucket. Like I mentioned, without Anthony Davis, JK can flourish in the paint against the Lakers. Here he tries to set a down screen for Steph, but Reeves is in a top lock position. Steph counters this by easily jab stepping towards the paint, juking Reeves, and ends up using the screen anyway. Luka sees this and actually prevents the pass by switching, but the problem with switching is that now JK has the matchup he wants. Podz places a perfect lead pass to JK deep in the paint, and with no shot blockers, JK powers through the defense for this mini 5-foot jumper. For the dagger, why don't we end it on a Podziemski 3? Steph and JK run a pick and roll to get the cone Doncic into action. Luka cannot even cut off the sideline, giving Curry an open right side to drive and collapse the defense. This forces LeBron to X out to the two Warriors on the left wing, where he makes the first correct rotation. Look at Jimmy Butler setting a down screen on Hachimura, knowing he has to make that next rotation back out to Podz. This simple pick forces a much longer contest, giving Podz the opportunity to use a shot fake to get the defender in the air, then sidestep for an open three. That's a dagger right there. There you guys have it. The Warriors end this road trip with two momentous wins against playoff teams fighting for similar seeding. Golden State traveled to the new-look Lakers and won a wire-to-wire victory. Despite Steph Curry recording another classic game against LeBron, I want to highlight the young up-and-comers in Brandin Podziemski and Jonathan Kuminga, who has superb games, making the case that the two-timeline plan is actually working in this championship pursuit. Podziemski continues confident shooting and playmaking, giving the Warriors a much-needed offensive threat last night, while Jonathan Kuminga was able to make huge energy plays, taking mismatches in the paint and finishing with high-quality layups. The two young stars play their roles to perfection as supporting characters, showing how well-rounded the Warriors are as they finish this race to the playoffs. Now onto a ridiculous back-to-back at home against the Nuggets, so if you guys like this breakdown, like and subscribe to see more.